Time to get out those notepads because today we are talking about how to make a wedding budget that actually works. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Danielle and I'm a wedding and event planner, and on this channel I share wedding planning tips, take you behind the scenes, and just basically share stories of what it's like to be a planner and work in this industry. So if that sounds good to you, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're watching this on YouTube, and if you're over on Instagram, be sure to be following along and turn on your notifications so you don't miss out when new videos like these get posted. Okay, so as I mentioned, today we are talking about how to plan a wedding budget that actually works. Earlier this week, I asked you guys in my Instagram stories which topic you wanted me to talk about more, and this one beat out designing a wedding planning timeline. So this is for all you guys that wanted to hear how I put together a wedding budget for my couples and some advice that you probably won't read on too many of those really big wedding planning websites. I'm going to share as much information as I possibly can, so if you are planning your wedding, I definitely am serious about getting out a notepad and a pen and taking a few notes. Most importantly though, make sure you stay and watch the entire video, because at the end I'm going to give my #1 tip on how you can save a lot of money when planning a wedding. So I wanted to break this video down into parts because it's not necessarily easy to talk about how to plan a wedding budget in a vlog so much as it is easier to put it in a blog. The first part I want to talk about when you are designing a wedding budget is it's really important that you factor in items that you're actually going to use. There's a ton of budget templates out there that they're basically all garbage. The bottom line is nobody can just hand you a template and say fill it out and make it your budget. All of the templates that are available out there are really cookie cutter, so they have the same exact categories. You know, your basics where they'll have the venue and the catering and all this other stuff. But the problem is when you're planning a wedding, you can't just use those categories. You have to use your categories. I'm going to give you an example. If you go onto Google and you type in wedding budget template, just to give you an idea, here are some of the things that they include that they're saying you should include when designing your budget. Ceremony venue, reception venue, catering, reception bar/liquor. Okay, hold on. What this cookie cutter template is implying is that your ceremony venue is a different line item than your reception venue, which is a different line item than your food, which is also different than your liquor. Depending where you are watching this and what the wedding world is like where you are, that might work. But I'll tell you what, for inside the New York City, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, this area, there are plenty of venues that you can have your ceremony at, have your reception at, and they'll handle all that food and alcohol for you. So that's one line item, because that's going into that per person cost. These cookie cutter templates are telling you to break that stuff apart, but those line items don't actually exist. Then there are the items that are on these templates that you may not need, use, want. Can't print out a PDF with a whole bunch of categories that aren't relevant to you. But that said, you need to create a template for your wedding, which includes what you need. When I am designing a budget, the first thing I do is find out what the entire budget is. What's the budget for the whole wedding? I take 50% of that budget and I give it to venue, food, and beverage. The other 50% goes to the other vendors that need to be booked. Next, I want to talk about myths that exist when designing your wedding budget. So you'll hear things like how to save. Honey, just have a buffet, it's so much cheaper. Sorry to all the Aunt Karens in the world, but buffets aren't necessarily going to save you any money. The caterer does not know how many steaks are needed, how many this or how many, then they have to prepare all that food for your entire guest count. Same idea with a buffet. I was at a wedding once where I stood online for about 40 minutes at cocktail hour, and then when I got to the front of the line, there was no food left. But that is what the caterer is trying to avoid. Buffets are not necessarily going to save you any money. It could save you money, it could, but that is not something that you need to rely on. Another myth is that you will save money if you have a Friday or a Sunday wedding. It's not always true. During peak season, a Friday or a Sunday in, say, September or October, you might not save anything at all. Another big myth that is out there is in regard to flowers. Use seasonal and local flowers. First of all, if you are in my area or anywhere north of, I don't know, Colombia, there are seasons where there are no flowers. You know what's in season right now? Snow. Sometimes it winds up actually being cheaper to get the flowers you want, not locally. What I'm basically saying is this: don't go into your florist and say, okay, I want this huge, big Kim Kardashian style wedding, but I know it's not gonna cost me anything because you can use in-season flowers. The biggest myth, though, that drives me crazy is when I get couples that come to me and say they want to get married on a farm, in a barn, in their parents' backyard, because it will be cheaper. Not only is it not cheaper, it is more expensive. The stuff that you have to bring in to these non-traditional wedding venues, electricity and a floor, restroom trailers and parking and valet, is going to cost you more. Don't get married there because you think you're going to save money. Then there are the things that actually will save you money, but you probably shouldn't do them. Get married in an off-peak time. You have a January 23rd wedding, and then all of a sudden, blizzard comes in, knocks out power. Not only are you having to deal with, well, does the venue have power? Does the venue have a backup generator? Well, if not, well then what do you do? Like, I mean, your wedding reception just became one giant game of manhunt. And then you have to worry about all the vendors, how are they gonna get there? And then you have all of your guests able to drive, are the roads closed? I mean, and they're all calling you because you are supposed to have a solution for this stuff. Another way that you can save money, and you really, really shouldn't, is limiting your bar. Whether that means beer and wine, sangria, or doing the two worst things on the planet, having it be dry or cash. Another corner that people will try and cut that they only end up getting in trouble for later is booking vendors with limited hours. Let's say you are looking at some photographers and they have, one photographer has 4 different packages, with the smallest package being 6 hours and the largest package, aka most expensive package, being all day, unlimited, 10 hour, 12 hour, whatever it is. You might not think that 6 hours isn't enough time or that 8 hours isn't enough time. But lucky for you, you stumbled on this video, and I'm telling you, that is not enough time. The last thing you want to be doing is getting hit with overtime fees from your photographer after your wedding. Which, by the way, that hourly fee will be more expensive than had you just paid for it up front in the first place. Now that we have gone over all the ways that you shouldn't save, wouldn't save, and why these cookie cutter budget templates don't work and how to make your own, let's talk about real ways that you can save when planning your wedding. I talked earlier about having your ceremony, reception, food, beverage, all that in one spot, and that is a great way to save money. If you go to some non-traditional spot and then you have to pay them a rental fee to have the space for the day, and that could be in the thousands easily. And then on top of that, then you have to bring in a caterer. If you have to get alcohol from a certain supplier, that's another per person cost. So now you have these 3 per person costs going on, and we haven't talked about tables and chairs yet. If you are in a situation where you have to get married at a non-traditional venue and you're watching this video and you want to kill me right now because you came here to find ways to save money and I'm basically telling you that you shot yourself in the foot, my suggestion is talk to caterers that are also going to handle bringing in the tables, the chairs, the linens. It's going to be their servers, their staff, setting up, breaking down, cleaning up. If you can get a caterer that has that, ask them to loop that into your per person budget. Another real way to save money is getting married and having all the wedding festivities at one location. Meaning, don't do an off-site ceremony and then go somewhere else for the reception. And where this saves you money is on transportation. So say you have your guests at a hotel block. Instead of the shuttles that you're providing, having to pick your guests up, bring them to the ceremony, and then either bringing them back because there's a break between the two and then to the reception, or then to the reception and then back at the end of the night. Transportation books based on the amount of hours. The fewer hours you need, the less money that you will spend. Even though you won't necessarily save any money by barking at your florist to use seasonal and local flowers because Aunt Karen told you to, there are plenty of ways that you can save with flowers, but I find that a lot of brides don't end up saving here because they're not being flexible. I don't need you to be flexible like Gumby flexible. It could be like your affirmation. I am Gumby. What I mean when I say be flexible with the florist is it's okay to have an idea and pictures. Those have to be inspiration pictures, not copy this, I want this exact same centerpiece. You're gonna go to a florist with a budget in mind and with a whole bunch of pictures. And you need to be of the mindset where this is the feeling, this is the vibe you wanna create. But it doesn't necessarily have to be with the peonies and the garden roses and the orchids. Basically the way to save money with flowers is go into your florist, say, here's my mood board, here's my vision, this is what my budget is, how would you make this work? And then let them tell you how they're gonna make it work. Another way to save some real money with your flowers is to reduce the amount of people in your wedding party or eliminate it completely. You have no idea how fast bouquets and boutonnieres add up. If you have a let's say $150 bouquet for your bridesmaids, and then you have 10 bridesmaids, that's $1,500 just for that. The less people in your wedding party, the better, for so many reasons. Okay, whew. I know this is long, you guys, and I'm trying to actually talk as fast as possible so that you can still understand me, but so that this video isn't 9.5 hours long. But I really hope that these budget tips are really, really helpful. As promised, I am saving the best for last. It is the #1 way that you can save money when planning your wedding. I know so many of you are not gonna like this, but this really is the way. It's gonna be like a come to Jesus moment right here. Me being Jesus. Cut your guest list. That's it. There's probably a whole bunch of you right now thinking, you know, I can't, you know, my dad's inviting like all of his buddies, and my mom's got 2 tables of people, and then You gotta get that red pen out. You gotta start crossing people out. We're talking about you people with the 200, 250, 300 people. Oh my God, how do you like all of these people? You cut your guest count. It's not just about saving money on food and alcohol. Less tables, less centerpieces. Now you save money on flowers. Less people, less invitations. Now you save money on stationery. And less menus and less escort cards. I mean, you just cut your stationery bill way the hell down. You will need less transportation, less hotel room blocks, which if you have a financial obligation, that's a good thing. And this is saving real money because it goes across so many different categories. I'm talking about stop inviting second and third cousins twice removed because they just invited you to their wedding in Minnesota. That's not a reason. Your guest count, you will save money throughout your entire budget, and that is the biggest tip that I can give you. Okay guys, so those are some budget tips from a professional wedding planner. This is how I help guide my couples, and I hope that this was helpful to any of you guys that are currently planning a wedding or any event where you need all these different things. These are real things to keep in mind. I hope that I have busted some of these lies that are out there on the internet, and that you have a better idea how to create your personal wedding budget and ways that you can save while planning your wedding or any other event. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and make sure that you are subscribed on YouTube and following along on Instagram. Please feel free to leave any comments that you like. Tell me what you want to hear about next, what advice you're looking for, or throw in ways that maybe you saved on your wedding so that other people can see as well. Thank you so much for your support and for stopping by the channel, and I can't wait to see you guys again soon. Bye.